At the London Motorcycle Show back in February, one of the daily quiz questions was, which UK race circuit has undergone a £3.5 million facelift? The answer was Snetterton. What a cracking place to come for round 4 of the Eastern Airways British F1 Sidecar Championship. Round 3 took place at a wet and windy Knockhill, and for one crew in particular, their world turned upside down twice. Conditions at Knockhill could not have been worse for the opening race. There was standing water most of the way around the circuit, and visibility as the crews left the line was well nigh impossible if you weren't in the top 3. But from the outset, Tim Reeves and Greg Clews made their intentions very clear. Barry James and Jamie Wynn desperate to catch up ground, of course. In the early stages, John Clark and Stuart Graham ran on at the hairpin. The hairpin actually proved to be the downfall of many, many crews, but the first of 2 huge crashes for Barry James and Jamie Wynn saw them lose it on the curb, spin with the rider trapped upside down in the outfit. Everyone fortunately missed them. A red flag came out. That indeed was a big, big crash. The restart took place without James and Wynn, of course, and again it was Tim Reeves and Greg Clews who effectively made it away from the lights, but hot in pursuit, Scott Lorry and James Neve on local ground here, home soil for them. Knockhill favourite Phil Bell on the number 8 outfit had a terrific ding-dong, if you'll pardon the expression, with Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson. Never really out of the top 3 or 4 here at Knockhill was Bell. Ben Holland and Peach then also got involved in a great big struggle. There was still a lot of water around throughout race 1, but at the checkered flag, a wave finger from Greg Clews signalled their victory in the opening encounter. The sun shone for the second outing, and from the drop, Scott Lorry made a huge lunge towards the front, and going down towards what was the old Duffer Stip, he had a clear advantage over Tim Reeves, who got it wrong on more than one occasion in this race in his desperation to close the gap on the black outfit ahead of him. Scott Lorry had a great deal to prove, and further down the order, the young guard as well going well. Ben Holland collected John Clark and Stuart Graham, inflicting serious damage to the front of their outfit. At the front, though, the breakaway duo of Lorry and Reeves battled, with Reeves getting the advantage one more time. Lorry, though, looking desperate to make it up, had second thoughts. Just as well, though, because Tim Reeves would not give ground, you could be rest assured. Lorry and Neve then got it all wrong again at the hairpin as they spun round, leaving Phil Bell and Ashley Hawes the opportunity to leap into second place. They needed no other invitation, so the red and yellow crew made it to second. Making ground again from the back of the grid, Barry James and Jamie Wynn unbelievably did almost a carbon copy of their first race crash. Fortunately, everyone missed them, with Ben Bygrave struggling to keep it on 3 wheels to avoid them. A red flag then came out, and that was the result. Reeves and Clews moved on to a 65-point lead, with Phil Bell elevating himself to 3rd place. The boy band Bygrave and Holland there 7th and 8th. The Birchells, well, they didn't feature, but they'll be back for Snetterton. Clark and Graham, not a good day for them. Shandon Barrett, Lambert and Schofield level on 13 points, so everybody picking up something at Knockhill. The tail end of the table then, still a fair bit of work to do. Another local man, David Rinn, he got 4 points. At nearly 3 miles, this is the longest circuit we'll be visiting this year. Let's take a look from the rider's eye view at this fantastically technical yet very fast new circuit. 2.97 miles the lap on board with Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson. Jonathan Palmer has very kindly named all of the bends for us, but we're going at such a rate of knots. This is the old top part of the circuit, which would have gone now into a more gradual right, but it's a very, very tight hairpin round here, down into second gear at Montreal. Squirting up now towards the new left-hander named Palmer. We just missed the signboard there out of the left, but the chair wheel trying to pop up down here. Now this is A short straight, but it's a fast straight. There are dips and rises on this circuit, and now down to Agostini's. A very tight left-hander, taken round here in third, just feathering the throttle, then away it goes left yet again. So you've got to keep the power on and yet be mindful of the fact there's a left. Now at Oggies, this is about as tight as it gets, all the way down into second for this right-hander, getting it round, watching the front, making sure it doesn't creep away as you feed the power in. Right again onto the fastest part of the circuit. We're going to see sixth gear, something over 150 miles an hour down here. Believe you me, the tarmac flashes by. Just watch the speed at which we go under the bridge. It's gone in a flash. Left-hander then into the chicane. Left and right out of here, up towards the bomb hole. Fourth gear, fifth gear, just nudging sixth before we get into Coram. And Coram goes on and on and on, down into fifth on the apex, back down towards what was the old chicane, but is now a very tight left-hander, renamed Murray's, taken in about second. Third for some riders, but it's tight. The problem is getting the brakes on, and then here we go onto the centre straight. That completes 2.97 miles of the new Snetterton 300 track. The last time I saw this particular outfit, it was north of the border and it was covered in mud. Barry James, Jamie Wynn, I suppose it's fair to say that Knockhill is an event you'd prefer to forget.
Yeah, probably a good idea to forget it really. I think definitely forget that one. Right, wise, put off the board.
Jamie inverted twice, and I mean they were both big crashes, weren't they? But the conditions were bad, in fairness.
Yeah, the conditions were awful. You know, the rain, the cold, but that, you know, that's Scotland, I suppose. We'll bounce back, I'm sure.
And from virtually a tail of the grid start, you were fighting up to third place when the second catastrophe happened.
Yeah, we'd done all right up to that point, and then it sort of went wrong when we got behind my own teammate, Mr. Peach. My fault, and no one else to blame, like, and just got it a bit wrong.
Barry, there's no question you've got the speed. I mean, you are one of the young talents really nipping away at the front. You've already had clear wins this year. So, you know, you must feel inspired. Don't lose your confidence, whatever you do.
No, we'll bounce back. Probably take this meeting a bit steady just to get the bike set up, make sure nothing's wrong with it from the crashes. We've had it to pieces since then, but you never know, we may have missed something.
Jamie, Snetterton here, long circuit, lovely tarmac. For me, it looks pretty good. How is it?
It's a lovely circuit with the changes they've made, yeah. A lot of left-handers, so that suits our style. Yeah, we like it a lot.
We could do with some good weather, couldn't we, this weekend?
Fingers crossed, yes please, a bit of sunshine. Yeah.
Good luck to both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Well, two huge talents made a welcome return to Snetterton this weekend, straight from a double podium in the World Championship in Croatia the previous weekend. Ben and Tom, good to see you back. This is a good opportunity to make up some lost ground.
Yeah. Hopefully we've been busy. You know, after Brands we went to Schleich to the first GP. It was going well, and then we had a bit of an incident there, which sort of caused us to miss the two British rounds. We also had a TT in between, so yeah, we've had a lot to do and a lot to get ready for. But we're back now and see how we go.
Tom, last time we spoke, you were recovering from a bit of a knock. Presumably that's all behind you and you're fighting fit.
Yeah. Big thanks to John Lawson for that, really. He took me to see Brian Simpson, and then I went to see Sarah at John Fretwell Centre, and they gave me some great treatment and really helped us get back going again. But yeah, the injury's fine now. It's not a problem at all.
Ben, 3 rounds have gone. You did well at Brands and scored some points. Reevesy seems to be getting away with it, but is it still doable, the championship this year?
I would think so, yeah. There's a lot of rounds and a lot of points, you know, still up for grabs. Tim's on top form, and I think we're not far behind him, so we'll see. We'll just keep plugging away. It's unfortunate that one does clash later on in the year, but our outset was to support this championship, and that's what we'll continue to do.
Sidecar racing is a very physical, tough, hard, fast sport. Hardly, you might think, a sport for ladies, but there are 2 ladies nonetheless registered as passengers in this year's series. Earlier in the year at Brands Hatch, I caught up with one of them. Carol, you're one of 2 lady passengers in the championship. I have to ask you, what's the appeal?
The appeal is the adrenaline rush and also the team spirit. You know, 2 people working together on the bike. And also I love the actual whole atmosphere of the paddock and the teams themselves. Like on the track it's, you know, really competitive, but off the track there's just a fantastic atmosphere about the whole atmosphere, the paddock, the lot. It's really, really good. Teamwork like you would never get it in any other sport, really, I don't think.
Over the years, there's been a great history of very, very successful lady passengers, you know, sprinkling throughout the World Championship and the British Championship. It's one area, I suspect, where a lady can be just as effective as a man.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, there are a few of us at this level. This is the first time that I've actually raced at this level. But I think you adapt yourself. I mean, I'm slightly smaller than maybe most of the men would be, and that's true of a lot of women passengers. But you adapt your riding style to compensate for that on the bike. So position your body slightly differently to make sure the suspension works, etc. So I don't think it's a disadvantage. And also, Ian, my driver's the same build as me, so I'm not having to counterbalance someone who's a lot heavier. So the team pairing is important as well.
I think if I look at ice skating, where you have so many successful partnerships, the public out there maybe draw the ultimate conclusion that they're an item, but that's not the case, is it?
No, it's not the case. No, me and Ian aren't item. Very close friends, but we're not an item, no. Some people that race sidecars are, and there's quite a lot of the F2 teams which are husband and wife, and sometimes brother and sister, but no, there's nothing between me and Ian, no.
Well, it's good to see you, and I'll be watching. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
You can see the size of the entry here this weekend, so a good grid position is absolutely vital. Several of these guys have got a real need for big points, so they need a good place on the grid. They're all streaming through to do their qualifying laps. I wonder who's going to be on pole position. There were 2 qualifying sessions on the Saturday, but that was only half the job done, because a short sprint race at the end of the day would actually determine the final grid positions. But it's all track craft, it's all experience. And from the early stages in qualifying, the Birchells made their intentions very clear. You heard in their interview that they needed to earn points, and the only way to earn points is get a race win, and to get a race win you need a good grid slot. Roger Lovelock and Rick Lawrence, consistent as ever. Terrific for them, but that race determined the grid, and it was the Birchells streets ahead of second place then, Tim Reeves. That's how they line up. It's the Birchells-Reeves pairing on the front row. Lovelock and Lawrence, sensational. Pete Ritterson, Laurie Neve, not quite as good as Knockhill, but still fast. Holland, Bygrave, Clark, Bell, and James and Wynne, row 5. It was indeed a very full entry. Young Steve Kershaw, Rob Wilson, actually injured, was unable to take part, so he had a stand-in passenger. Craig Chaplow got himself onto row 6 with former world champion passenger Pat Farrance. 10 rows then, 20 crews will line up for race 1.